Welcome back again. Now, we're going to get that tiny little bit of highlight that we've been looking for. Here we go. Onto the yellow. Because it's dry enough now, it's all dry before we go near the cottages again. Don't worry, we'll be back to it. Just with a dry brush, I want you to take a little bit of your yellow, put it over there, and a little bit of the white, okay? To lighten it. Can you see that? Take a little bit off the brush if there's too much on it, and then in the center here, start bringing that out, okay? It's a whole little process in itself trying to get this glow, but you see what I mean? See the way it is glowing now, isn't it? And it's just to get that light source just up above, and you'll see the sense of it then when we have the highlights on the cottage, okay? Can you see that? There's a lovely glow to it. Okay, so that's that. So we're going to leave that for the moment. You see we have the darkness here at the edge, and then it slowly brightens up in the center. So we leave that for the moment because we're going to go back now and we're going to start putting some highlights into the buildings, and we're going to use our titanium white for this, okay? And the light is coming down this way, so we're going to have the light at the front of the building here. No windows yet, nothing like that, forget about that. Supporting my hand again, then coming down here at the edge of the gable end, okay? This is what gives your building character and depth, Rebecca, you know? It's to get this idea into a flat surface that it has depth and solidity. And this is how we're going to do it. And it's step by step, you know, just adding these colors. This guy's going to come up here then, just slightly on the outside of the line we put in, just to give that sense of girth and solidness of these cottages, okay? Have him there on the outside then as well, like that. Okay. And then there'll be shadows going in here as well, but we're going to come right up, leave a little shadow under the roof. We can get that in again. And all of this area then will be the white. Okay, and then we go back in around the grasses again. Don't worry if you can't get them exact, because you're going to put, there'll be yellow highlights going on these grasses anyway at another stage, but we won't be doing those yet because we're only interested in the buildings for the moment. Just thickening that line a little bit more. I thought it was a bit too thin. And this guy here can be the same as it is, because that's slightly in the distance, so it wouldn't be as broad as the first line. Okay, can you see that then to start with? See the way the light is coming in there? Then we have a little bit of light just touching off the top of these old crumbling walls, okay? There's just a little bit of light coming in from the background, okay? We'll be putting other shadows in there, so don't worry about it. And then there's a little bit of light on the top of these as well, coming across there with a few little breaks in it as well, okay? Going in there. And then there's a little bit of, here, I'll put some more onto this because it has to build, you have to build it up a good bit to get that sort of highlight, real sense of light, you know, look at me. The sun or the whatever it is shining on me. And then we just want a little bit of light at the top of the gable ends here. We don't want it, we lift the brush as we bring it down so as it fades. Okay, can you see that idea? I'm lifting it off at there, so you only touch the top of the gable ends, okay? So that's basically all we do there for the moment. Then what we can do then is we can bring up our roof again, and we're going to, this time we need a little more of that light red. Cadmium light red, just to mix it over here, and I'll show you over here at the side, and put a little bit of green into it as well, just to take that vibrancy out. We will be putting highlights back into it, but we just want to get another coat onto the roof to build it up a bit more. It's just looking a bit too dark. Okay, going down there like that. See the way I'm leaning on my hand as well to hold it steady, okay? And then the same on this side. And this is the number 3 brush again, a small brush, because it's a small area you're working in. You don't, you know, it's not a massive area, so you want to control over it, okay? There will be shadows coming in there into the lower part of the roofs as well. And then while we're here, while we're at it, we let those dry a little bit. We're going to get in some of the trees in the background. And these guys are going to be the cypress trees. Can you remember that? Remember we have the deep turquoise, okay? The deep turquoise. And do you remember the way we used to do them? We did them a few times now. We can do them in this sort of sense, like a curly whirly effect. This is transparent by nature, this colour, we have to go over it again. You can do it like that if you wish, or else you can do it with the traditional sort of Christmas tree effect, like this, okay? Widening as you get down. Now, it's up to you, whichever one you want to use. I always go for this one here, I prefer this one, more naturalistic. Some people like that as well, like this one. But anyway, we'll try this. We're going to put a few of these just behind it to push back the mountains a little bit more. The mountains of more. Okay, so we're bringing the we're starting up here on the mountains, okay? These colours, as I said, are transparent, so we will have to go back over it. The only way to avoid is to try and don't put as much water into it, because that'll give you the depth of the colour if you don't water it down too much. But sure, if you do, it doesn't matter, you can go over it again. Okay, and we're going for a smaller, much smaller one there than beside it, okay? And then slightly taller again. Just to vary, you know, to make it, to keep the eye moving. That's the idea with a paint. You want the eye to be moving. You don't want these fellas all the same height, because it just gets boring then. Okay, then we're going to have a few of them on this side as well. This fella here, so I hope I'm not in your way. Can you see okay? And then maybe slightly taller one here. Coming in there like that. Okay, and then a much smaller one here at the edge. Just the edge. It can be behind, coming up behind the wall, you know, at the gate there. It doesn't matter, the gate can go in front of it. Okay, bring it up a bit taller. Okay, can you see that? Grand, see it? That's fine. And that's all we want to do there for the moment. We will be building those up in the next video. And then all I want to do is I just want to check. See, that's dry again. So this is what we're doing. We're coming back to it each time with another little bit dry brush. Make sure it's a dry brush now. Back into the little mixture of yellow that we have there. Back into it again. And a little bit extra white just to bring it up a tiny bit more. I know I don't use white that often now. Clean off the brush, we don't want too much on it. Then go back in again. And we know we have to bring it up another little bit. It's not bright enough yet. I want to get it lighter than that. Yeah, that's it. I want to get that tone, okay? And then the same idea, we're just bringing it out very gently as if this is where the sun is, I presume. Okay, right in the center. But you see the way? See the way that's it. That's perfect. We don't want to do any more with that. Next we can go on to mixing in a little bit of that yellow in with the green up here at the top, just to get this working while we let the cottages dry. Okay. So you see I'm putting some of my green in here with the yellow. Okay. And we can start off with this small number 3 round brush again to do it. We go back over it again with yellow eventually. But just to show you to get a differentiation. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Our strokes are going off that way. To the right again. And you come up to cover, you know, almost meeting the cottage area, you know, the walls and the building. And you'll see the idea now that the light is glancing off these as well. I'm just going across first to get a sort of a baseline. Okay, and you'll see the cottages standing out more as well because of this. This is really the idea about the cottages that can't really be painted on their own. You need other influencing factors, you know, to bring the cottages to life. You know, depending where the light is coming from, you know, all of these factors are important. You can't just do a cottage in space. You know what I mean? It has to have surrounding. It has to be related to something else in order to experiment with its shape and with the light and shade. There has to be a light source. Okay, all of this comes into action, which I'm sure you can appreciate now. We're going to come right across here. We'll be coming down a little bit as well. It won't be all just at the top, but I just want to get in this, I call it the baseline, the structure that everything will emanate from. And then we'll get some yellow into it as well, okay? Just adding some more water to it, just so we can spread down a little bit more, because it is going to come down here, okay? And we let those other greens come through because it will be a nice effect. And they sort of go up there higgledy-piggledy, not too much. Can you see the idea now of the light? This is the whole idea of the light. We know now we have a light source and it's affecting the middle ground of the grasses there. Okay, one or two here then, just because the light will diffuse in all directions. But it will be concentrated in one area, which is the center. And that's probably where we'll bring out our yellows as well. Okay, now can you see that idea? Is it beginning to make sense? Good. That's the whole idea, because we just want to make sense. We don't want people to become angst. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have to dry that now and start working on the shadows to bring them in. Okay? So we'll be back again very soon. Put on the kettle again. I'm thirsty.